Most universities, after you gain admission, will require that you pay something we call an enrollment deposit. This could range from maybe 50, 100 to sometimes about 1,000 or $100. Um, should you put a stop to the whole application process because the university is requiring an enrollment deposit? No, this is how you go about it. So I made a post on Facebook asking people how much their university is charging them in terms of enrollment deposit. And the comments were a lot. Apparently, this has been, you know, a stumbling block for a lot of people continuing trying to work on the study abroad process, and most especially for most undergraduate applications. Some universities will require that you pay an enrollment deposit. Now, this is how you go about it. I'll give you two ways. First, you can ask them if it is possible to credit the amount to your student account. So the argument is that they want to know to the number of people that they've offered admission into, which people are ready to secure a spot in the university. A lot of people apply to different universities when they want to start the study abroad process. So the universities want to be sure, are you choosing our school over another school? So what it means is that if you pay that enrollment deposit, you make a commitment to the school that you'll be coming, and they can make their plans based on that. So you want to go. So just assure them that yes, you want to go. But as an international student, you have a couple of things to sort out. Maybe visa application fee, CVS fee, flight ticket, and all that. So you can tell them that, is it possible they credit that enrollment deposit to your student account? Remember, there's a difference between a tuition deposit and enrollment deposit. Tuition deposits are mostly higher than enrollment deposit. So if you have an enrollment deposit, like let's say $300, $500, ask the school if they can credit to your account so that you can proceed to work on your I-20, start your visa process and all that. Now, another thing is that you can ask them if it is possible to waive the enrollment deposit for you. You can explain your current financial circumstances, and if it works for them, they'll be able to waive for you. I would mostly go in for asking for them to credit to your student account compared to waive it. Most universities may not want to waive it for you, so go for either crediting it to your student account so that when you get to campus or after you get your visa, then you'll be able to sort it out. On this platform, what we do is to let you understand that no matter how your situation is, it's possible to do it. Sometimes when you don't know how to go about something, it may seem a bit challenging. Remember, you wouldn't be the first person to study abroad. A lot of people have gone through this path, and that's what I do on this platform, where I bring my individuals who have been through the process to share their experience, their process, their journey with you, so that you who want to study abroad can learn from what schools are they studying at, which scholarships are did they end up getting, how can you also get same. If you have questions, we are happy to respond to them. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. Hello, you're welcome. If this is your first time joining us, this is the Fred Effect. Let me bring my guest on. This has been like a long intro. Let me bring my guest on and we get started. Hi, how you doing, Albert?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you, Mr. Fred. It's a great pleasure to be on your podcast today.
How do you what's the English name for a Nmunyam? So if somebody has a Nmunyam, how is it? Is it charisma or glory? How is it? Because that is what you have.
Oh, thank you. I think you, yeah, it must be one of the two.
Awesome. Talking about enrollment deposit, did your university require, or any of the universities you applied to earlier require that you pay an enrollment deposit before getting here?
Yes. So there was one that was the University of Denver, but just
Okay.
as you said, I sent them an email and I explained my financial situation to them, and they waived that for me. And
Oh, really?
yes, they did that.
How much was it?
I think it was about $400 or so.
Oh, okay. And just an email conversation was able to wipe off $400.
Exactly.
So
Like,
it's highly possible you can do it. I'm glad you bring your experience to it. A little bit of introduction to the thousands of people watching us, and where are you from? What was your previous academic qualification? Anything you can tell us so that we get to know you. And for your friends watching you now, how will they know this is Albert speaking?
all right. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Albert Nino Yokui. I pursued my bachelor's degree at the University of Ghana, and currently studying my Master of Public Administration degree program here at Grand Valley State University in Michigan. And yes, my friends know me as Albert. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a student leader back at the University of Ghana. Yes, I was a president of a living center called Dr. Hela Liman Hall, and I was the chief of staff for the SRC. So
Wow.
most of my friends know me as Albert.
So he's a big man. He's a big man. He's not a small human being sitting down. So the idea of this podcast is for people to understand, your story, how you went through the process, how you ended up getting your admission and all that. Let's start with what actually you are a hall president, and mostly a hall president, you're a big man already. You can easily enter politics. Shout out to Dennis. Dennis was a SRC president at UCC. He's now into serious politics and all that. What you had a good job. What ignited your interest to want to study abroad?
So for me, I think I'll say it all started with a dream. I recall, back in college at Legon, every semester you're required to register for your courses, and for you to do that, you have to, go through the student handbook.
Okay.
And I recall vividly, back in those days, when you go through the handbook, you see the names of the faculty members for your program, or potential professors. And when you see their names, you see Professor so and so,
Mm-hmm.
BSc Ghana, MSc UK, PhD USA.
Okay.
Seeing that, and I was like, wow, this amazing. I think, and you know, I liked current affairs very much. It was something that was instilled in me growing up. I used to watch the news a lot, and most of the great people doing great things. When you look at their background, you realize, they all had some good education. They had education one way or the other, outside Ghana. And as a
Okay.
little kid growing up, I thought for me to make an impact, I also have to pursue that route.
Wow, this is interesting. This is the first time I'm hearing this perspective, because anytime I talk to anybody, they go like, I couldn't find a job. And recently, the current administration, President Mahama's administration, I realized that the profile of almost all the ministers that were selected, they had the same thing that you're saying. Like, they had some form of education or certification abroad.
Yeah.
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 So if you're listening to us, pay attention. So, wow. So you never saw any professor that goes like bachelor's degree Ghana, master's Ghana, PhD Ghana.
There were, but there were very
Okay.
few. There were,
Very
but
few.
there were very few of them. So for me, that was what really ignited the passion. And what made me kickstart this project, I recall, was when I was president at Liman Hall. There
Mhm.
was one time I brought an organization reached out to me. They had to study abroad, and they wanted to educate students
Okay.
to how to go about that. So I recall we had an event. We put together an event where they came in and to the hall, and we advertised to residents, and they all came
Mhm.
out, participate. And I sat in that event as well, and they were walking us through the processes involved in applying to programs
Right.
outside Ghana, in the UK, America, other countries. And I was like, I think I should start this as well. That was my
Mhm.
final year at the University of Ghana. So I kickstarted the process, started putting in applications. First, I commenced with UK universities in UK. I
Right.
applied to a couple of them and got admission. And I have a very good friend called Fifi, Michael Wedufu.
Shout out
We
to Fifi, man.
Yeah, shout out to Fifi. We used to chat a lot about pursuing our master's degree outside Ghana, and we were looking at the Chevening scholarship.
Where
Fifi
is
wa-
he now? Where is Fifi now?
Fifi is now he's now in Florida. Yeah, he is
You
in
see?
Florida now.
So surround yourself with people like that. Surround you tell me 5 friends you have, and we can tell you where you're going to end up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I recall very well. We used to have these big dreams. We used to watch soccer together. He
Mhm.
supported Chelsea, I supported Manchester United, and we
This
had
your Manchester, I know the go well. Oh.
Yes, we had a sport. We used to watch football at AM and PM,
Yeah.
and we used to talk about, one day studying abroad and making money and going for vacations in Bahamas and all that. And I'll say today, Fifi goes to Bahamas through his job and all. So dreams
Wow.
come true. So
Yeah.
that's how this whole thing started. And yeah, that's this year is where we are now.
Wow. How has this study abroad thing changed your life though? When people want to start the process, probably they assume the juicy part of life, living a good life, stuff like that. You have lived it for, a couple of years now. So how has it changed your life? Would you have done this again if you had opportunity to restart?
Of course, and I want to say a very big shout out to you as well. I recall I found you on X Twitter.
Right.
I was there, and one day I saw your Twitter space, and I joined. And after joining, you were just giving guidance as to how to go about the study abroad process. If you now want to put in up admissions and all, but your main focus was in the US. So I
Right.
recall I reached out to you. I sent you a DM and I told you, I'm applying as well, but my focus was on the UK. And you encouraged me to, look at US schools because in UK they don't give much funding. So I think through that I started joining your Facebook live sessions. That's way back in maybe 2022.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I joined your group chat and yeah, here we are today. You've been amazing. So shout
Yeah.
out to you for empowering millions through education abroad.
I really appreciate that. I get goosebumps when somebody told me something like this, that through what we are doing, the person got inspired to be able to go through. And shout outs to Elijah, right?
Yeah, Elijah is
Yeah,
here as well, through you as well.
right.
Elijah is a very good friend of mine, Elijah Fosu.
Right.
So yes.
So it's
Yeah.
really
So,
go ahead.
so to answer your question, I think it's something I'll do over and over again. Studying abroad has been amazing. It's been a good opportunity for me to have a different perspective about life.
Hmm.
I see things from a different perspective now. I've had a chance to experience diverse cultures because here in the US there are people coming from diverse parts of the world, all over the world. You get to sit in class with them, you get to interact with them, you get to hear their stories and how things are done back in their country. And in a way, it makes you a global citizen, getting
Right.
to know everything happening. And the professional, networking opportunities you get is enormous.
Right.
So in my field, pursuing public administration, we have a body called ASPA, American Society for Public Administration.
Right.
They usually do have their annual conference. I attended their annual conference in Minnesota last year in April, and it was amazing. I met a lot of professionals within the field doing great things, and even some people who we read their articles in classes and all that. I had a chance to meet some of them in person, and you get to discuss with them what they are what insights you were able to get from that and all.
Mhm.
And yeah, and you meet fellows who are doing great things within your space.
Yeah.
It in a way encourages you to persevere, because you see what your potential within the field is. So
Exactly.
studying abroad has been amazing. It opens you up to greater opportunities, great networks and great roles, etc. So it's something I'll do over and over again, and something I'll truly encourage everyone watching me to pursue.
Right. So let's talk about what you studied at the University of Ghana and what you're studying now. What did you study? What did you end up applying to?
So back at the University of Ghana, I studied a Bachelor of Science degree, and my concentration was in public administration. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
currently here at Grand Valley State University, I'm pursuing my master's degree in public administration as well.
A lot of people, and because we are in the same field, a lot of people think that getting into MPA is a bit challenging, and also there's not much funding. How do you end up getting your scholarship?
So I'm a grad assistant, and that's how I pay my tuition. And in my university here at Grand Valley, you can, regardless of the program you pursue in, you can apply to graduate assistantship within any department. So far as it's opened and you qualify for it, you can put in an application, and if you meet the criteria, you go through the interview process, and you are selected. You just go through that.
All right.
So challenging, I don't know about that, but I think there's always a way. There's always a way. Once there's a will, there's always a way.
All right. So this is the university that Albert is currently studying at, Grand Valley State University. It's become pretty popular. This days, I think the undergraduate applications, they used to waive a lot of application fees for people. And let's talk about, did you apply to only Grand Valley? What are some of the other schools? And what we do normally is to be able to show the screen so that people will know some of the schools we are talking about. Because for some people, they'll be hearing about it the first time. This is the first time they're hearing the name. Talk to us about Grand Valley first, and then we come to the other schools you apply to. But
Yeah,
if you're
so
listening to, if you're watching us, remember you can be part of the discussion. Let us hear from you. Ask your questions in the comment section. I'll be reading them to Albert, and he will be responding. From a Bachelor of Science in Public Administration to a Master of Science, a Master of Arts in Public Administration. All right, let's talk about Grand Valley.
yeah, so Grand Valley State University is one of the leading universities within the West Michigan region. I'll say it's a university that has a population about 25,000 students, and
Right.
it's located in Allendale. We have satellite campuses. We have a satellite campus in Grand Rapids downtown, and there is some in Muskegon and in Detroit and in other areas as well. It's a predominantly white university, and yeah, the class sizes are quite not very large,
Right.
which gives you the opportunity to have access to your professors and that one-on-one tuition interaction. It makes that great. So that's a bit about Grand Valley. It's a great university, that has a lot of opportunities, and they do well to support their students.
Awesome. Did your admission automatically come with a scholarship, or how did you get your scholarship?
No, so in my school, for most programs I know of, you get admission first before you go ahead to apply for your assistantship or scholarship.
I want
So
you to pause on that.
okay,
So he's saying for most of the for his school, you get admission. There are some people, they are expecting that the scholarship should automatically come with admission. And so when they get the admission and then the scholarship is not added, that's all they give up.
no.
So it may not necessarily come with your admission. So let's talk about what then did you do after your admission has been secured. Congrats, you've gained admission. What next?
So, one thing he taught us during the application process was prior to you even applying to the university, you reach out to the program director or program coordinator whose email you find on the webpage.
Right.
So you send an email, introduce yourself, express your interest in the program, talk about your qualification, attach your resume, and ask them about funding opportunities for international students. But prior to you doing that, you should review the university's financial aid page to know what packages they have, so that if you have questions. So before you apply, you already know the kind of funding available and the processes involved in doing that. So for me, I knew the process involved already, and the ones I didn't know, I seek clarification from the coordinators, and they gave me direction. So whilst the admissions came in, I knew what next to do.
Oh, awesome. I think this person might know you. I didn't know if he was on a platform. He said, I call Albert the bald-headed view, visa prep.
Yeah,
Yeah, Albert will interview like a pro. Albert is about this Clement. Okay.
right,
Where's
Clement.
Judith of Sitting Hall University? Oh, okay. You remember Judith?
Yeah. I saw
Yeah.
New York in December. I think
Oh, okay.
of January. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are lost, we are just so there's a visa preparation platform that has been existing for more than half a decade now. So this gentleman Clement was part of the platform during the 2022-2023 as season where we're doing mock sessions, and mostly Albert will handle the interviews and all that. So he's commending Albert and has a name for him and all that. And there's another lady, brilliant lady, who also got a PhD full funding to a university called Sitting Hall University. Shout outs to you if you're watching us, Judith. So yeah, awesome. Shout outs to Clement, man. Okay, so let's talk about the other universities you applied to so that people can have a view. Did you put your eggs in one basket? Was it only for Grand Valley?
I applied to so many schools, and with Clement bringing up the prep interview, I want to give a big shout out to Hetty. Hetty was our chief VO.
Yeah.
Hetty has also touched a lot of lives, and she prepared us very well for this whole process. So I applied to about 11 or 12 schools. If I'm
Wow.
not mistaken, I applied to a couple of schools, I didn't put my eggs in one
Before
basket.
we go to the schools, and if you're watching us, you need a pen and a paper. Now, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes some of these universities you've never heard about it before. You don't want instances where you put your eggs in one basket. So 11 to 10 schools. I'm trying to think about it. Like assuming each school is taking like 3 letters of recommendation. Were you able to? Because that's the major challenge people have. How were you able to convince your professors to give you these recommendations?
Yeah, so I'll say it's all about the relationship, the relationship you have with them, and yeah, and as well. So I also had some professional experiences as well, and I spoke with my supervisors who gladly, gladly supported my applications as well. So yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Pia, Dr. Zainab, University of Ghana, um, Dr. Heming, Bright. Bright was a secretary on the disciplinary board. I was a student rep on the University of Ghana disciplinary board. Bright was our secretary. He gave me a couple of recommendations. Big shout out to Bright.
You're drawing my attention to something. That means that your recommendations did not only come from professors, right?
No, no,
Oh, okay,
yes.
okay, okay.
Honorable Emmanuel Clote, he was my boss. He played a huge role. I mean, gave me recommendations for all my schools, and yeah,
Oh,
so that's how I went about that. I know it can be very challenging.
so you didn't target only like I have these 3 people. They should recommend me for all the 11 universities. It was
No,
different people.
no, and you see, most of the schools actually have what they look out for. So
Mm-hmm.
what I realized was there are some schools, their program is designed in a certain way. Some of them actually, it's research intent. So
Okay.
with that, you push for faculty members, like a lot of faculty members, professors, people who are taught you, who can speak to your research, research capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Dr. Daniel Lapia was my supervisor for my long essay thesis at the University of Ghana. So he put in recommendations for most of my schools, about 15 to 16, including the ones I applied to in the UK, So
Awesome.
you have to be very strategic about that. There are some that value your professional experiences. So in that case, what I did was I actually had a spreadsheet
Mm-hmm.
where I dedicated, recommenders to schools, based
Right.
on what they look out for. I think the study abroad process is you must be very intentional about it, in going by that.
You must be very intentional about it. If you're just tuning in, you're not late. I'm speaking with Albert, a full funded student at Grand Valley State University. It's located in Allendale, Michigan. It's one of the schools. You can check it out. And then he's also telling us that he applied to a lot of schools. Now we are going to go through one after the other, and I'll be sharing the screen so that you get to know some of the other schools he applied to. Now, every week we are trying to help as many people as we can. If you're able to join the session, you share, and then you comment, you automatically enter a draw. Now, at the end of the session, we will select one person. If you have a high school or diploma qualification, the Fred Effect team will handle your bachelor's at the degree application for free. However, if you have a bachelor's or master's, you want to pursue a graduate degree, we will walk you through what we call the Fred Effect Mentorship Program. Now, this Fred Effect Mentorship Program for more than half a decade has assisted thousands of people. Now, most of the people that we bring on the podcast are people who went through the Fred Effect phase, either on the mock session or maybe one-on-one session. So we have over the years impacted a lot of lives, and we continue to do this. And so you can be part of it. Just click on the like button, share this session. If you're watching us on TikTok, you're also to be part of it. We are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram as well. So please be part of the biggest Study Abroad content platform. Remember, whatever you want to achieve in life, there is a structured process to get it done. Within the confines of what life permits, you can do it. If people have been able to do it, you can also do it. Albert, let's go to the other universities you apply to, and I'll be sharing my screen so that I let people know these universities, and they can also be writing them down. So you've already talked about Grand Valley State University, and since we mentioned Judith, let's bring Seton Hall University. I went to New Jersey, and then I went to Seton Hall University. It's the cutest campus I've ever seen.
Oh.
I've never seen any school that has a wall around it. So the whole school is being walled, and it's very cute, very small campus. Looks like almost everybody knows everybody. It's a very beautiful campus. Yeah, it's located in South Orange in New Jersey. Let's talk about the other schools you applied to.
Yeah, I also applied to Rutgers University in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I applied to Arizona State University.
Let me show Rutgers. So
Okay.
I was maybe I will show the video sometime. I drove through Rutgers University. It's located in New Jersey. It's a beautiful campus. So this is what program did you select here, bro?
Master of Public Policy.
Okay, so because you had a BSc in public administration, you were only focusing on public administration, public policy, or did you move to
Yes,
other fields?
no, that was my focus.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Some people would want to divert a little bit. Maybe if I have public administration, I can look up political science. What was the reason? Why only public administration? Because you had a BSc in it?
No, it was something I wanted to pursue. So I know for
Right.
master's degree, it's more like a specialization. So you can, I mean, I know a lot of people who have diverted based on, their preferences and what they want to do. You just must give a justification as to, why you want to go within that space. And I think you can be considered for admission.
Okay, so this is the website of Rutgers University. Remember that you pick a pen and a paper. Please be writing them down. Later on, you go and research on these universities. It might be the first time you're hearing about it. So Rutgers University is also located in New Jersey. Which other university, bro?
Arizona State University.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Because I've been to Arizona State University as well. Yeah, it's a beautiful campus. It's located in Tucson, Arizona. There's a difference between University of Arizona and then Arizona State University. Actually, Arizona State University is located in Tempe. So Tempe and then Tempe and then Phoenix. Phoenix is the capital of Arizona, but Tempe is like a few minutes drive. It's like the whole place is combined. So you have Scottsdale, you have Tempe. There are other places around Phoenix, but Tempe is very beautiful. I think that's where the airport is located, and that's where Arizona State University is located. Honestly, of all the campuses I've been to, this is one of the most beautiful that I've seen. It doesn't snow in Arizona, and so it's a desert like. But the way they've made the campus and the structures that is very beautiful. I drove through the campus just to have a look at how their structures are. All right, so Arizona State University, and I had a friend that I did, a white friend actually, that I did my internship with when I went to Arizona, and he was into their MPA program.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Wow. So Arizona State University, and obviously that would be MPA, right?
Yes, MPA.
Because they have a very great MPA program. Which other university?
And the University of Memphis.
Okay. Okay. That's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can search for this. Is a one-man production, so guys, be patient with me. I'll get it. I'm trying to search the name of the university, and then I'll post it. So, as the name goes, University of Memphis is located in Tennessee, in a city called Memphis. So this is the website of University of Memphis, and I understand. I think either Otumfo or the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat actually, has a sort of scholarship in Memphis, right? You have a history
Yes.
with them,
Yes,
right?
so I was actually a beneficiary of that scholarship.
Was
But
it the Royal Scholarship, the Otumfo Scholarship, or Ghana
yes,
Scholarship?
yes, I was a beneficiary of that scholarship, and I want to give a shout out to Mr. Richard Janefie of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat.
Oh, okay.
It was very, very helpful. But when I also had funding with Grand Valley, I thought I should go with Grand Valley and give
Yeah.
another Ghanaian the opportunity to also have the chance to take my slot for education. So
Oh,
I
okay.
decided to take that
So
decision.
you had admission to Memphis. Your scholarship was not coming from University of Memphis, but from the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat.
Yes.
And then you decided that, okay, since the school is funding me at Grand Valley, let me go there so that another Ghanaian can enjoy the scholarship. Oh, that was so nice of you. Awesome, awesome. All right, so that is the website of University of Memphis. Very beautiful website. Which other university, bro?
Northeastern University.
Okay, Northeastern is supposed to be in
I'm not sure.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, yeah. It's a private university, but very popular. Is a huge research institution in Boston. Um, Boston is one of the most expensive places I've been to. You know, I went to Massachusetts. I was in Worcester, but the place was super expensive. I couldn't stay, and I left. You know, so that is Northeastern University. Pick a pen, pick a paper, be writing things down. Search for these universities. People have applied to them. And when I finish, I'm going to come back to whether you gain admission to all of them, if you had denials and all that. Let's go to the next school. If you don't remember them, that's absolutely fine. But I think you are giving us a lot.
University of Denver.
University of Denver. That is located in Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people think this is a public institution, but it's a private non-profit institution. And, you know, it's located in Colorado. I think so far, what has been your best state so far?
I like New York. New York is very beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it's
New
been
York, or different city in New York?
New York. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
I really like the skyline. It's always beautiful, you know. Yeah.
I feel it's crowded.
Well, yes, it is. It is, and it's obvious, you know.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like that in New York. When I went to New Jersey, you drive a little bit and there's a toll to pay. I'm like, nah, this is not how it's done in Ohio or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is so far. I think that of all the states I've been to, I love how beautiful Colorado is.
Okay.
Very beautiful state. It has a little bit of a touch of Arizona, which is a desert-like, and it has a little bit of Midwest, which is a forest-like. You know, very beautiful state. Okay, so that is the website of University of Denver. It's located in Colorado. All right, no, it's located in the state of Colorado. Let's move on to the next university, bro.
William and Mary College.
Wow, in Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, I love this school, honestly.
I think it's the second oldest school in America, oldest college in America. Also, I'm not very sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think was it 13 something? I've forgotten. It's a very small school, but you know, more or less like, I don't know if I should call it an Ivy League. Yeah, William and Mary. If you've never heard about it, you can check it out. Like I said, there are some universities, if people don't mention them to you, you may probably, yeah, it's 1693. That was when it was established. Yeah. Anyway, so that is William and Mary. It's a public funded institution. It's not a private school, but it has sort of a Christian, kind of background. All right. Let's go to the next university.
Northern Arizona University.
Oh, okay. Okay. So shout outs to my sister Akushika. Northern Arizona University. So I drove through Northern Arizona University, and for people who stay in Arizona, right, that is where they go to see snow. So it doesn't snow in the middle part, which is the Phoenix, the Tempe, and all that, but it snows in northern Arizona. It's called, the place is called Flagstaff. It's a beautiful campus. I drove through the last 2 years or so, right? So that's Northern Arizona University, yes, and they have an MPA program as well. Are you giving us more?
I must mention that for this school, I applied to their online Master of Public Administration program. I don't know if they have an in-person one, but I had a plan that, in case nothing goes well, I still want to go to
Start
school
online.
So exactly. So this was an online.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then the last school I recall is Johnson and Wales University.
Johnson and Wales. I want to guess where the it's located. Johnson and Wales. Okay, it's located in Rhode Island.
I'm not sure, or maybe.
Okay. Okay, so as a private institution, yeah, located in Providence in Rhode Island. I don't know if there's sometimes some schools may have similar names, like Seton Hall University is located in New Jersey, but Seton Hill University is located in Pennsylvania. So sometimes some schools may have, so this is the website of Johnson and Wales. It's located in Rhode Island, a city called Providence. All right. So with all these schools that we are mentioning, did you gain admission into all of them? Did you get any rejections? What happened?
Yeah, so I gained admission to all these schools. There was one school I didn't get admitted into, but I can't remember the name. I can't recall
Right.
it. But for all these schools, I gained admission to all of them.
Awesome. 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 What did you do different? Do you think that it was your statement of purpose, your recommenders help you? What made you to be able to get all these schools? And if you knew you're going to get all these admissions, why waste a lot of time and effort to apply to 10 schools or 11 schools?
Again, I don't believe in putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
I believe in having options to choose from, and then
Mhm.
also I'll say your guidance also helped very much. I was fortunate to, meet you at a point when I was putting in these applications, and a couple of friends and other resources I had at my disposal. I was someone who was everywhere, looking for knowledge. One thing you used to share with us was, regardless of us being on your page, we should also go out there to explore and
Right.
look for knowledge out there. Yes, so I was everywhere making. I made friends, proofread my statement of purpose. I made my boss, Honorable Emmanuel Clotte, proofread it very well. I
Wow.
believe he is very astute when it comes to the English language. So I
Right.
made him peruse it well for me and pinpoint, give me his bird eye view and make things, run smoothly. I think all those things came together to help me. So
Right.
if I say I'll mention names, I mean there might be a few I might omit. I want to say thank you to them all. Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to the statement of purpose, can you share with us, certain elements that you think helped you? Is it like your professional background, maybe because you were you were a hall president? What did you put in? What were the ingredients?
I feel, we all have, regardless of your background,
Mhm.
you have a story to tell. So the statement of purpose is your unique opportunity to speak
Right.
to the review committee, since you are not going to be there to advocate for yourself.
Right.
It's a way to tell them, why you want to pursue this program,
Mhm.
what's been that burning desire for you to pursue that particular program in that particular school. As
Right.
a way to introduce yourself to them. So you introduce yourself to them, you tell them about what preparations you have that has you believe has prepared you for a time like this to pursue this advanced degree. And then also you tell them the prospects, what you intend to do with the program and how you intend to contribute to the university. Yes. So then, for some schools, if it's research intent, you need to look out for faculty members who are doing great things that you really admire and who you want their mentorship or their guidance in your research as well. So you mention them, and then most schools want to have an idea of
Yeah.
what exactly it is you want to do. uh,
Mhm.
yeah, so I think that was what I did. Yeah, that was what I did.
Another question I would want to find out is, did you use the same SOP to apply to all these 10 universities? Did you have to refine them? Was it not like a lot of time trying to say that I'm writing a single SOP for all the 11 schools? What was your strategy?
So I'll never say it's a lot of time. I mean, every time invested, you would bear its benefit, and you would be proud of yourself for taking that. So it's never a waste of time. What I would say I did was I had a master SOP. So I had one particular one where I'd loaded with it everything,
Mhm.
every information. I sat down to reflect, to put everything together. So it's like an encyclopedia where I compiled about me myself. And one
Okay.
unique thing about most of the schools is they do give you prompts, you
Hmm.
know, what they are looking for in this statement of purpose. So that served as a guide. So when I was writing, I went into my bank, which is the big SOP I had, to pull out things that can, perfectly fit what they are so designed. And that was what I did. I think the school that denied me prior to the admission decision coming in, I had a Zoom call with them, and I think it was a private school. And when I spoke to them, they told me they didn't have funding. I told them without funding, I can't come. I'm very sure that was the
Oh,
reason
okay.
behind me. And
Yeah.
one thing you used to tell us as well was, you used to tell us private schools usually don't give funding. You can get funding from a private school, but you have to put in a lot of hard work.
Right.
And one thing you told me personally was to focus more on the public universities, so yeah.
Yeah, I think Susu was asking the same question. Brother Albert, in his application, he targeted both private and public schools. Would he have been funded adequately in the private schools? I always target the public. Okay, so Susu, I think Albert has answered your question. If you have a question, drop them in the comment. Click on the like button. Share this to someone that if they want to study abroad. This is the platform that they have to learn from. All right, so let's move on. What has been difficult to adapt to? Is it the language? Is it the weather? You've been in New York, so colder place. Yeah, in Michigan, a bit closer to Canada, very cold. What has been challenging to adapt to, and how were you able to overcome that? Mine has been I was finding it difficult to adapt to their food. So what I was doing was to get their ingredients to prepare Ghanaian dishes, right? Even though the tomatoes will not taste the same, stuff like that. What has been yours? What has been your experience?
I'll say the weather is one. I mean, the winter in Michigan is brutal. Michigan is a very, very, very cold state.
Yeah.
It's close to the Great Lakes, so the lake effect snow. It's amazing. Like right now, it's below 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
That's maybe, let me see. I think
Negative 30?
it's currently 0 degrees now, which is good.
Okay.
0 degrees Celsius is good weather.
Mm-hmm.
Usually -8, -4. Sometimes even goes to -30. And
Wow.
there's something what feels like it's maybe -0 degrees, but it feels like -5 degrees.
Yeah.
So the weather has been one. I've been here for a while, kind of adapted, but there are some days where the cold that comes, you feel it in your bones. It's like it's so the weather is one of them, and obviously the food. I like my good Ghanaian food, but one thing is when I came here to the US, I mean, I'm now a very, very good cook, and
You okay?
yeah, and my Elijah, my very good friend Elijah, always comes
That
to
was
me
Elisha, man.
for good food,
Yeah.
So yeah, it forces you to also evolve. There are a lot of things that I mean, I couldn't cook very well in Ghana, but now I do very well. I believe in
I see.
in my kitchen, I do very, very well. So the food is one of them. Language barrier, yeah, you have to take your time. Diverse culture, different people, different accents. It becomes a challenge, but as time goes on, you begin to understand and pick things up. And then the culture here in the US, in back home in Ghana, it's more like a community setting.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
here it's more of individualistic. People are to themselves. It's even very hard to make friends. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, these are some of the things you intend to deal with. But
With all these applications, and somebody was asking in the comments, did you have to sit for any test courses at GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, or any other exam? Did you add any exams to your application?
no, so for me, I think it was right after COVID, and most of the schools had waived GRE for their admissions because of COVID. Some
Okay.
schools did require the English proficiency test, but I got university gave me what's it called, an English proficiency letter, which I submitted instead of the TOEFL and whatever they needed. And then some of them you have to email the admission office and tell them English has been the medium of instruction from
Yeah.
basic school till now, and they kind of waive it for you.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the money aspect. Was the scholarship the decision, the major thing that influenced you to decide between the two schools, Memphis and then Grand Valley, even though you had admission from all the schools, or did all the schools also offer you scholarships?
Yeah, so yeah, I think about 80% of the schools gave me funding, but most of
Okay.
them wasn't full funding.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them give you scholarships. You get dean scholarship here and there. You get the departmental scholarships, etc. Funding wasn't the major reason for me, coming here. Aside the funding, one thing I looked at was the faculty, which is something most people don't look at.
Yeah.
So the people going to teach you, what's their background, what training do they have, what schools have they been to, what aspirations do you have as an individual, what do you really want to do after you are done with school. And you realize most of our faculty members, they've done great stuff within some fields. And if you
Right.
know there's a professor who had worked maybe here and there's a place I want to go, being in their class, they can give you guidance to, pursue that route. And then also the class size of Grand Valley, as I said, we have a small class size. So it's very easy for you to interact with them. Your professors, open hours, you get to go to their office and discuss with them, and yeah, very 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 supportive. And then also I looked at the cost of living,
Hmm.
within the space. Is something we don't look how much is rent going to cost you,
Yeah.
how means of transportation, etc. These were things I looked at, and yeah, so it was tailored around these and the opportunities around. So in Grand Rapids downtown, there are a lot of things going on.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to internship and stuff, these are places you can look at. So these were factors I considered.
Okay. So what, since you brought the issue of rent out, I the least rent I have paid was in Ohio. I paid like 312.5. No, the least I paid is $200 during the COVID era. Like a lot of students were going home, so you had a lot of landlords saying that, oh, they are reducing their rent. So $200, like a full one bedroom with your bathroom and all that. But we're paying $200 for it. Utilities, everything inclusive. But the highest I've paid so far was like 2,000 a month somewhere in New Jersey. It's crazy. So what is the rent? And I agree with you that the cost of living is not the same everywhere. So the rent you're going to pay in New York, New Jersey, maybe Massachusetts is a little bit different. Somewhere in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and all that. So how much is the rent comparatively?
So I live on campus, and I think the cheapest rent I've paid is about 450, and that was in the
Okay.
summer, because in the summer, rent is quite cheaper because
Hmm.
everyone goes home. So about 450. But when school is in session, I think rent is about 700, 750.
Wow.
Thereabout. Yeah.
Wow.
And I've
Wow.
lived on campus throughout. I hear it's very economical when you go off campus. Yes, but yep. So
Yeah. I see. And obviously the security on campus is
yeah,
compared to
yeah.
us off campus. And um, let's talk about the job you do. Mostly people teach as for their scholarship. People are research assistants, graduate assistant. What is your job? What do you do?
So I'm a research assistant, and
Hmm.
I work at the Sidman College of Business, the Dean's office. As a business department at the Dean's office, my main supervisor is the Associate Dean of the Business School, and
Right.
he's an economist. He is an economics. His interest is mainly in housing and economic stuff. And one project I do is called the Grand Rapids Economic Forecast. There's a
Hmm.
forecast we do to check the economic sentiment within the West Michigan region, and there are about 4 counties we survey, every year to
Right.
predict how the economic outlook is going to be for the next year. And it's something my supervisor presents to the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce every year, and these key individuals use this in their decision making for the fiscal year coming. He also presents this to policymakers, big folks within the community, to serve as a guide. It's something that has been going on for a while. I also contribute to research to faculty members within the departments. So I
Okay.
get to work with different faculty members on different projects. So that's what my research assistant mainly entails.
Right. If you're just tuning in, you're not late. Remember that the session will still be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms. So, at any point in time, you can go and watch the previous sessions we've had, and also get to learn from people who are, enjoying what you are aspiring to apply to. All right. So let's talk about the money aspect. Back in Ohio University, I was taking around, I think, 700 to 1,000. And then Kentucky, similar. And then, I moved to a different school. It was a bit higher. So let's talk about the money. Do you think that, the stipend is enough for students to start building houses home?
No.
Let's put it in approximation. How much do you take? Are you paid every 2 weeks or monthly?
So bi-weekly as a
Right. And,
assistant.
and, and so gross monthly, how much approximately are we looking at?
So when I first came, it was 8,000, but they recently increased it to I think 12,000 or so.
Oh, wow.
Yes, which
Wow.
is good. it meets up with inflation, rent and food and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. And even though when you say you're on a full scholarship, break it down. I was on a full scholarship in my studies at Ohio University, but I still had some fees to pay, international student fees, health insurance, stuff like that. University of Kentucky, I wasn't paying anything at all. And then in my next school, I was paying health insurance as well. Talk to us about, I know this differs from school to school. When you say you're on a full scholarship, is this something you pay or you don't pay anything at all? How is it like for you?
So for some schools, their grad assistantship does cover health insurance, but for my school it doesn't. So I pay for health insurance, which is close to $2,000 a year,
Okay.
and you can be billed per semester, so you pay about $1,000 every semester. Of course, you have to pay for housing. There are some taxes you have to pay, and
Mhm.
with this amount I've mentioned, when your paycheck comes, you pay federal tax, you pay state tax,
Right.
so you even pay city tax.
Yeah.
All these taxes are deducted prior to you receiving your check. And yeah, I mean, there are things that just comes up. You find stuff on your billing. Uh,
Mhm.
for instance, for books for classes, GBSU has this thing called Laker Save, where
Right.
the books are they negotiate with those who do the publication for a cheaper rate. So the books you need to use for class is subsidized, maybe
Mhm.
$80 instead of 120 or something. All these are bills you find that you have to pay for. And then there are
Awesome.
times where they actually bill you for on your scholarship. So if you have
Mhm.
a scholarship, there are some taxes you need to pay as well.
Yeah.
So all these are ingredients. I mean, little things that take portions of your money away.
Right. You've had experience, being in an administrative position in Ghana, and then also being a student, right? If you have an opportunity to go back home and change anything about our educational system, you have experienced it somewhere over in Ghana and experience it here. What do you think you would love to change?
One thing I would love to change is, so here in America, most of my friends have engaged with, I know in schools, one thing they are very big on is on-campus jobs. So you find students in offices doing administrative works, whether it being front desks, whether
Mhm.
it's answering phone calls, in departments doing research, various things. And I feel if you're in college and within that 4 years period, you use a portion of your time to work on campus and offices, you gain some experience,
Right.
that makes you
Yes.
very equipped for the job market when you come out instead of the theory and the internships that not everyone gets. So that's one thing I'll be very, very, very big on. Creating that avenue for students to work and make money whilst on campus and also gain experience as well is something that goes a long way. And there are so many changes. Over here it's more hands-on. It's not just theoretical.
Yeah.
You are being exposed to so many things. Sometimes even the books you read in class, your professors can actually arrange with the author, the person that wrote the book, to
To
join
come.
the class
Yeah.
virtually or come in person to discuss with you what went into writing that book.
Yeah.
You get to
I-
speak to them
I'm
and
sorry, but imagine, I don't know if that man is alive. In the chest of a woman. Did you read that book?
yes, yes.
Was he alive? Imagine like you being in high school and you
That
get to meet this man in person. Efo Maugbe.
yeah,
Shout out to Efo Maugbe if he's alive, and then his family, right? So I really relate to what you're saying. That imagine this: you are in high school and you get to meet this man in person. Or come to
yeah,
your class, Yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
So you were in an administrative position back home. When you look at students doing this job in some of the campuses here back home, which people were doing that job?
Well, it's tough. They employ permanent staff to do that, but over here it's same. But
Mhm,
they give additional roles to students. It's a way
mhm.
to equip them to get the experience. So some of them call it a work study. So whilst
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might not earn a lot of money, but it's a great way for you to gain experience.
On your CV as well. Oh, awesome. All right. If you are tuning in, we have over 1,000 people watching us across our social media platforms. Shout out to the people watching us on TikTok. We are also live on X, YouTube. The session will be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms, especially on Facebook and on YouTube. So on YouTube, if you go to the live session, you see all the episodes that we've made. How many minutes do you have for us, Albert?
I'm open.
All right. So moving on, if you were supposed to start this whole process again, what would you do differently?
Yeah, so based on everything I know now, I've come to realize schools are categorized into, different classifications. So there are research universities, and research universities are the schools that get like the largest grants. They have a lot of funding. There are regional universities. So, I mean, based on what you really want to do. And one thing I've also come to realize, which I didn't know earlier, was aside we saying maybe Harvard is the best school in America,
Mhm.
maybe MIT, etc. When it comes to the programs, there are best programs, schools that have best programs. So you might have a school like, say, University of Michigan. It might
Right.
not be number one in the country, but it might be number one in public policy. So if you look at it that way, maybe John Hopkins is maybe number one in public health. In that ranking. Another thing I would do very well, which I'll be very intentional about, is the faculty with
Mhm.
which I want to work with, and what their background is and what they've done. We all have interests. What our interests are, for pursuing graduate study and what we want to do with it. I'll be very intentional about the faculty members with which I want to, whose schools I want to go to. And I
Right.
believe back in college, there were a lot of books and a lot of articles and papers we read. One thing I would have done differently was to reach out to the ones that was, very touching, and the ones that
Mhm.
inspired me. I would reach out to the authors, and I mean, express my what's the word I'm looking for? My admiration for their work and how
Right.
that has impacted me. And another thing also most people don't know is you don't have to be in your final year to start application. For some schools, you can actually reach out to them 2 years ahead of time. So when you're applying, they ask you, when do you want to enroll? Is it the
Right.
fall of this year or next 2 years? So you can actually, meet with faculty members ahead of time. Say, oh, I mean, I'm a sophomore, I'm a junior, I'm a senior, I'm in level 300 or level 200, and I aspire to pursue your program in, say, the next 2 years.
Mhm.
This is what I'm doing. What can I do to, be in a better place to qualify for admission and funding?
Right.
So you prepare ahead of time. Prior to you starting this, you did indicate that there is a framework which you need to follow, in order to attain whatever you want to attain.
Yeah.
So once you engage with these folks, you know what you have to do and you know what you are lacking. It makes you prepare adequately ahead of time,
Right.
for the journey ahead.
Any advice to a lot of people look up to you, bro, and I like how you treat people. So I know there are a lot of people watching you from University of Ghana at the moment. What would be your advice to them? They want to be like Albert. They want to study abroad. What would be your motivating word to them? That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, to everyone watching me today, the advice I'll give you is to start early. Starting early is very, very important. And, you have to prepare adequately. Well, make sure you meet all the criteria. And when you go to schools, if you want to do their program, even if it's Harvard, wherever, just dream big and have big aspirations. Go to the school's website, look out for their program requirements. And if you don't meet it, prepare ahead. That's why you need to start early. And then also, you need to research schools, know the school inside out. What is it they are looking for? What is it they are known for? How will this school suit me? What will make me succeed in this school? These are things you need to look out for as well. And you need to network, networking with folks. I know usually there are fairs now, schools come to Ghana to do. You need to network, you
Yeah.
meet with
Yeah.
these professionals from the universities, these outreach folks, speak to them about your interest and know how well they can meet you or who they can connect with you with. Sometimes when you reach out to the admissions office, they can connect you to graduate students currently in the program,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and you get to hear their experiences and they might give you some insights as to how to tailor your application to be able to get in as well. And then also you need to look out for funding. Funding is very important. unless you are a very wealthy person or rich person. I mean, some people are, but you need to. I mean, it's always good to come with funding. Once you have funding, you have the peace of mind to go on with your studies without any interruptions. And one thing Fred used to say every time was, it's always it's always I mean, you shouldn't come to America to study with a loan, because there's so much funding in America.
Yeah.
So work hard, look for the right schools, get the funding, and then come in to do that. And then be persistent, because there will be a lot of depressing times. There will be a lot of challenging times. There will be a lot of frustrations. There'll be a lot of times where you get love letters. Love letters are rejection, but it's all part of the process. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Apply to as many schools as you can, and what I'll say is studying abroad is very challenging, but it can be very rewarding as well. And you should stay resilient and open-minded always.
Awesome. Jude is asking if you evaluated your transcript before to any of these universities.
No, I didn't do that, but there's something I would advise everyone to do if you have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So when you evaluate, it makes you be equivalent to the US system. It makes it very easier for them to interpret.
Right.
And one thing I also advise is, if some of the schools are not requesting for an evaluated transcript, once you have your evaluated transcript, you can merge it with your original transcript and send it over to them.
Awesome.
It helps them, interpret your transcript better.
Yeah. So I think you bring a very important point. If you evaluate your transcript, normally it boosts your CGPA.
Yeah.
So if you're applying to a school that do not require the transcript evaluation, what you can do is to merge your original transcript with the evaluated transcript. So sometimes you pay for the evaluation, however, the school you're applying to does not require it. Now, what Albert is bringing up is that because your CGPA is boosted on your evaluated transcript, merge the two of them. Now, it makes them understand that, oh, okay, after the evaluation, this is what you got, even though the school does not require that. This is a very important one. All right. Let's see if we can pick more questions. With all the universities you applied to, did you get a waiver to any of them? Did you have to apply and pay application fee to all of them?
Yes, so no, not all of them. There were some I paid application fees to, and there were some of them that I got waivers from. And by doing that, some of them you need to attend their info studies, info sessions, where they tell you about the program, and at the end of the day, they give you a waiver. And for some of them as well, what they do is you can send an email to the coordinator. Sometimes the schools have some funds set aside for giving waivers, and there are some schools that even waive application fees for incoming students coming from developing countries.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
these are all things you should look out for. And I mean, I'll encourage you to save. When applications are free, there's a large pool of people applying, which makes the process very competitive. Because bear it in mind that people are applying from all over the world.
Right.
So you are going to be in very much competition. So you should also save money and invest in the process. If you have to save money to pay for application fees, I think it's worth it. Once that's why you have to do your research and make sure you meet all the requirements. And I mean, you have confidence you're going to get in. And you had reached out to the program director. One thing Fred taught us, which I think is very valid and something we should all do, is to connecting with the program director or the program coordinator ahead of time.
Right.
Building rapport with them, makes it very easy, because it keeps your name in mind. When they are reviewing they are usually on the committee reviewing your applications. And when they are doing that review process, oh, Albert reached out to me, oh, Fred reached out to me, there's Fred from Ghana, there's Fred from this, it kind of helps them maybe advocate for you, because maybe you've held conversations and you've told them about what your interests are and what you're doing currently. It gives you an upper hand maybe. So if that will help, that's something you should also consider when putting in the applications.
All right. Remember that every weekend we select one person. So the Study Abroad podcast is done every weekend, and so we are trying to help as many people as possible. We only need you to be serious. So if you get selected, please make sure that you are really in for this. Normally, you try to help people, and then they wouldn't take the whole process serious. Remember, notwithstanding how best somebody wants to help you, the whole thing lies on you. I mean, the onus lies on you to be really serious about the process. Other than that, whoever wants to help you would just be wasting their time. So we need you to be serious. If you are being selected, you have to get your documents, try and put in the effort, and definitely it will pay off. So we want about 150 people. We have 127 so far. How do you get to join or be selected? Click on the like button, click on the share button, and also type your comment in the chat. You automatically enter the draw, and after the session, we will select one person. All right, Albert, moving on. Somebody was asking, what has been your best experience and what is your worst experience so far?
Yeah, so my best experience, I'll say, is in networking. Meeting great people, having the chance to attend, conferences for like the mother body of my organizations.
Yeah.
Sorry, of my program. Networking with the people there, doing great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Conducting research that is very tangible. That is actually, impacting communities. Currently I intern with the Urban League of West Michigan, and there's inequality everywhere. Coming to America taught me that inequality exists everywhere, but it's in different contexts, it's in different ways.
Yeah.
So regardless of the inequality happening in Ghana, it's still same here, but is in different forms. So contributing to community and making an impact, it's something that I really enjoy doing that. And connecting with different people coming from different parts of the world, making new friends and learning their culture also it's been a great experience. What I'll say, some of the worst experiences I'll say, would be the food, struggling with the food, especially when I did come in, and then the weather. That was also, one of the worst experiences I had. And, getting in, fitting into the system, coming from a different culture. There are challenges sometimes where cultural shocks do come in,
Yeah.
where things you haven't experienced before, you begin to experience them. And it becomes difficult, going along with them. And those are moments where you need people who are very well experienced to guide you through. So yeah, that will be it. That will be it.
Mau is also asking, Mauiram. Mauiram is like an ever name. You have a nice name. How many times did you attend a visa interview, and did you pay did you pay MRV and then the service fee? So how many times did you go for the visa interview? How many MRVs or service fees did you pay?
So I attended the interview once.
Yeah.
Fred's platform, prepared us very well for it. And I must give shout out. So I was everywhere. Looking for
Yeah.
information. I paid MRV once, service fee once. I must give shout out to Education USA.
Yeah.
What's the name? I forgot the name. Yeah, Education USA.
Mhm.
They have also sessions. People don't know about this,
Yeah.
but they have sessions where they help guide students. And I was there. I recall prior to me going for my interview, we went to the US Embassy, and they told us about the study abroad process. I remember the ambassador was there to speak to us, and I think 2 days later I went for my visa interview. So I must give shout out to Education USA. Auntie Rafia too was very helpful with their sessions as well. And there are many resources on YouTube and everywhere. All those ones prepared us very much for this.
All right, hello. Your microphone is muted. If you could unmute your microphone, and since we're on video, you could put your video on. That would be great. I don't know if Halal can hear me. All right, let's talk to Anchi. Hi, Anchi. So I've shared the link which you can join us live in the studio and talk to Albert on the various social media platforms. So you can click on it and you'll be able to join us live. Anchi, can you please hear me? Okay. Halal, let me know if you can hear me. All right. Halal and Anchi, they are not ready. So let's see if we can. Okay. Halal, can you put on your video? How you doing?
Yeah. I can hear you, but I just had some powerful doomsor right now.
No problem. Talk to Albert.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Albert, I hope everything is fine.
Yes, Salah.
Yeah. So with you, I think it's like you've already spoken about it. How you went for your visa interview, you just went into once. How confident were you in responding to their questions, and how would you advise me that okay, maybe yours should also be this way, you should be focused this way when they ask, you should respond this way, and then maybe probably it could go your way as well,
So
basically from your point of view.
yeah, so I mean, once you enter the interview room, you definitely be nervous. I don't know, maybe people handle things differently. But one thing that worked for me was when I went in, I recall very well, there are these frames on the wall. I was just reading them till we got to my turn. And you must know what you're talking about. You must
Absolutely.
natural, and you
Okay.
must you must answer their questions to suit what they want. And imagine yourself being a visa officer, okay, and you ask a question, the response giving you, would it be satisfactory to you? You should ask yourself that, because sometimes some of
Okay.
the responses we do give, you realize it's not very logical and it's not convincing. You get what I mean?
Okay.
So you should
Okay.
sit back, assess yourself, assess and because we all prepare, we prepare for the visa interview. They'll definitely ask you, what school you're going to. They can ask you what states that school is located in. They can ask you to tell them about the school. They can ask you to, tell them why you chose that school, how many schools you apply to, in terms of your funding, how are you funding your studies? If you have a grad assistantship, if you have a scholarship, if you have a relative funding you, why is that relative funding you? Your responses should be very logical. And there are some
Sure.
times when you see some transcripts of folks who have been denied, and when you assess, you're able to read between the lines and say, no, this is not convincing enough. I'm sure you've seen most of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So
And
yes.
again, how like what were some of the challenges that you kind of face maybe before you went? Sometimes you try to inquire from colleagues who are Ghanaians up there, and probably maybe you may not be able to get the response from them. Sometimes you try to get in touch with colleagues that you even knew back down here, and then it will take a whole even a more than a week for them to even respond to you on simple things, I may say. But probably maybe you might even see them online somewhere else and all that.
Yeah,
Ghana man, sometimes how to do get in touch with you and all that.
I
I'm
understand.
sure those, because mostly most of us face it. You just, oh, this my party, but then before he will respond to you and all that. And but anyway, thanks to Mr. Fred as well. Through him nowadays, nobody worries anybody again. You get in touch, you get in touch with his platforms, and at least you get all the basic things that you
So I
needed.
don't know if Fred still does it, but Fred had this, platform where you meet at 4 a.m. You meet via Google Meet or Zoom to go
Yeah,
over things.
he still does it. He still does it.
Exactly. That's a wonderful way. Another thing I'll advise you to do is to focus on the positives. So don't listen to people who scare you or who tell you negative stuff. Oh, this go pick, this go happen. Don't focus on those people. Always look out for the good news. Because yeah, I mean, look out for the good news. That should always be your focus. And once you are focused on that, trust me, and just work hard. And as I said earlier,
Sure,
make sure you are very well prepared. You get what I mean? So that whatever answer is thrown at, one thing people do is they memorize responses.
Yeah.
So when you get there and they ask you a question that isn't part of what you've memorized, it kind of they spoil the strategy. So
sure,
anything you do, they
sure,
make happen. So yeah, you have to be very well prepared and know what you're really talking about so you can answer them
sure,
adequately.
sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining Halal, and we wish you all the best. Let's talk to John. John, you've been on for some time. Please talk to Albert.
Hi John, how's it going?
Good evening.
Good evening, John.
Happy New Month,
Mm,
Mr. Alfred. Please don't be annoyed. My question goes to Mr. Alfred on YouTube. My documents are all complete. I've collected my transcript and two recommendation letter from my working place and also from my school. Then with my certificate, all are ready. So I'm looking for. I've been applying for scholarship or school, but so maybe Aston University of giving me a response that they cannot accept my transcript, my uh, this thing BSc because it's not equivalent to UK. So I don't know how am I going to know why my certificate was not equivalent to UK bachelor degree.
So what qualification do you have at the moment?
BSc in public health.
Which is a 4-year BSc with 8 semesters of transcript.
Yeah, the transcript is 3 pages. That is from 2014 to 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to understand. Is it 8 semesters, 6 semesters? How many semesters of transcript do you have?
I have 6 semester.
Okay. So that is 3 years of transcript. So normally a lot of universities will require you to have 8 semesters or 4 years. So the transcript evaluation is going to help with your process, right? If you evaluate your transcript, then you target schools that require the transcript evaluation. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes.
So you remember, you're going to compete with people with 4 years of transcript or 8 semesters of transcript. So you need to put in a lot of work. And so get the evaluation done. It will put it at the level, Albert mentioned, it will put you at the level of the US equivalent. And now understand, some universities may not want to accept it because it's not 7 or 8 semester, which is absolutely fine. So you focus on the universities that is going to accept the 3 years or 6 semesters of transcript. And of course, Albert mentioned that you can communicate with the head of department, share a copy of your transcript and resume with them. So you will even know if they would accept it or not before you put in the application. If you send me a message, that would be super helpful, bro. Thank you for joining. Let's talk to Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon, kindly unmute your microphone and please talk to Albert. Your microphone is muted, Mr. Simon. Okay. Mr. Simon is not ready, so let's talk to... Hi, Jeremiah. Kindly unmute your microphone and talk to Mr. Albert. Jeremiah, can you please hear me? Okay, Mr. Simon is ready. Hi, Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon is having a challenge with the network. Hi, Mr. Simon. Yeah, please talk to Albert.
I think the network is...
Hi, Simon.
Okay, so Albert, I want to ask this concerning off-campus job. Can you add that to your I-20 for your visa application? Maybe by the grace of God, you've gotten an off-campus job, and you know the amount of money they are going to pay you per month or per year. Can you add that to your I-20?
So with regards to the US, when you are studying here on campus, you're entitled to work for 20 hours a week, and that 20 hours a week, you can't work only on campus. But there are exceptions. Maybe in the summer, you want to have an internship. There's something we call the CPT, curricular practical training. It's more like internship, and they give you authorization for up to a year, but that has to be renewed, I think, every 4 months. And immigration laws allow you to go have internship outside. You are not required to work outside campus, but if it's an internship, and your program requires for you to have that internship, you can use CPT to gain that experience off campus. But working off campus is against immigration rules, and that can be included in your I-20 prior to you coming to the US. Well, based on the knowledge I have, I think that's how it works. I don't know if Mr. Fred has anything to say concerning that.
Yeah, so sometimes if you're lucky, some universities have what we call day one CPT. So if in case your school has that has given you that day one CPT, then yes, you may be able to. It depends on the dynamics. So Simon, let's understand very well. Is it a day one CPT kind of school? Day one CPT allows you to work whilst you go to school outside. But not every university allows that. But is it a day one CPT school, Simon? Oh man, Simon has.
Okay.
Simon, please fix your connection, and then we bring you on. Chio, how are you doing? Please unmute your microphone. Talk to Albert.
Yeah. Hello, Fred.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. I can hear you, sir. Please go on.
Good evening, and Thanks for the good work you are doing for all of us. I've really been following you for some time now, but currently I've gotten admission in Canada, Niagara Falls University. But upon my inquiries, I realized that it's a private school and I had 11,000 Canadian dollars scholarship. But the rest of the amount left, uh, it's really amazing. I might not be able to afford. So I really want your support. I don't know what to do now.
All right, so there is a school for everyone, right? There are some schools you are required to pay a tuition deposit even before you go there. So you have to try and cut your coat according to your cloth, right? So if you know, it's a huge opportunity if you were like be able to have family support to be able to pay the tuition deposit before you start with the study permit application. It's quite unfortunate that maybe you may not have the finances to do so. It means you need to target universities that will not be financially demanding even before you get your visa. So, for example, in the case of my brother Albert, you know, the university required application fee to apply, admission is secured, scholarship is secured, and you go through the visa process. You know, so if there is an instance where you have to pay a huge amount of tuition deposit, even before you start the visa process, and financially you cannot take care of that, then you focus on universities that will not make life difficult for you.
Okay.
Right. It's quite unfortunate. This probably may not be the answer you were looking for. But you wanna. My brother is not happy. He's not smiling. So
Yeah. So again, I mean, these things does arise every time, but
mm,
again, yeah, we don't give up. We keep going, and there's always an opportunity to put in applications, and there are schools where you can get full funding. So you should prepare ahead of time, and there are other options for financing your studies as well. Some people I know are on go to school on loans. They use loans to pay, but that should be like a last option. If you've explored every option and nothing is coming up, that's something you can explore. I think Fred has a video on YouTube that talks about the different ways of funding your education.
yeah,
If you go through all those routes and nothing seems to work, I mean, it's something you can go to and watch Fred's videos. Fred's page is an encyclopedia. It has everything. Especially watch his previous videos. He's touched on almost every question you would have. So if you start watching from the very first one till the current one, trust me, you gain a lot of insights. So I wish you very well, and yeah, don't give up at all. It's going to be tough, but I mean, just keep pushing, and you would surely get to the destination.
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you for joining, my brother. Let's see if we can pick another person. But if not, like we've been here for almost an hour and 30 minutes, so we have to go. Joy, congrats on your admission at Illinois Tech. So um do you want to wrap up with your experience at the embassy? Why do you think people get refused, and what you did? What made your situation special? Was it your funding, or maybe how you dress, how you spoke? What happened for you?
Well, I know circumstances are different, so I can't speak to why people get refused.
Right.
But it can be related to, I mean, various reasons. But of course, I would say you should be very prepared. You have heard of instances where folks freeze. They ask you something and you just
Exactly.
can't speak. So you should be very, very prepared. Thankfully, there are guides out there that tells you what the visa officers actually look out for. And I know you have videos with former visa officers who shared what they look out for.
Yeah.
So once you know all these things, it helps you to prepare adequately prior to you going. I know funding plays a huge role in that. If you are a fully funded student, it makes it easier. Because I know one of the things they look out for is your intent. Are you really going for school? So, I mean, if you have funding, it's very likely you are going to go to school. So it's something that plays a huge role. And I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of people get rejected when it comes to they explaining how they are going to fund their studies. So make sure your story is very convincing. And I mean, imagine yourself being a visa officer. If someone comes to you and narrates that story to you, would it be something you would buy in? These are things you need to do, and yeah, you have to look good as well. You should look the very best. You should look presentable. I would say you should look very presentable on the day, and people form perceptions based on our appearance. So all those things play a role, and ultimately pray. I mean, pray very well, because with God, every I'm a Christian, so or whatever belief you have, whatever you or what you believe in, pray to that, and I believe everything is going to go fine for you.
Pray, and I believe everything is going to go fine for you. I made a video talking about, sometimes like horses are prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord as you go on this study abroad process. I don't know what you believe in, but I think that, as you do your physical part, for the schools you apply to them, coordinators interact with them, the application fees you pay. It's also awesome that you commit the whole process into whoever you pray to, right? It plays a major role. And if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, you very well relate with what we are saying. It's been a great conversation with my brother Albert. His story really inspires me, and I'm glad that he was able to make time to talk to us about his process. You can also do it. Believe in yourself. People have done it, and it's possible you can do it. All right, Albert, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you as a human, how decent you are, and the charisma you have, the edge to still keep in touch with people. I really appreciate it, bro.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me as well.
Awesome. So this has been, the another episode of the Study Abroad podcast with the Fred Effect. Albert, you had a final word to say. You wanted to say something. Some people you want to say thank you to, whatever.
Oh yeah. So thank
Yeah.
you to everyone that has been a part of this road. I truly appreciate everyone. Of course, you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
You definitely need the support of family, of your friends, your professors, people you've worked with, people
Yeah.
giving you recommendation. They all play a very instrumental role. Your pastors at church, who have you, the entire community, everyone that rallied behind me, to make this dream possible. I say a very big thank you. And if I should commit to mentioning names, there will be a lot of people I might omit and have to do apologies later on. So I truly appreciate everyone for their support in this regard. And to Fred, thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much for all you do for us and for the guidance and for making the time and your dedication. So at the time you weren't taking money from anybody, but you show up every time to, give us wisdom. So yeah, we truly appreciate you and God bless you for all your efforts.
Thank you so much.
You all, and yeah, putting the hard work, and trust me, the journey might be tough, but it's very rewarding at the end. So thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Albert. So that was my brother Albert studying at Grand Valley State University in Allendale, Michigan. Hall president at University of Ghana, and now having his master's on a full scholarship. So you can also do it. It's highly possible. The idea behind the Study Abroad podcast is to bring people on. Sometimes when you get to know that what I want to do, I'm not the first person to do it, and in fact, a lot of people have already done it. It motivates you. It gives you that intrinsic motivation, and for people to tell you that I applied to this school. It's just easy. Just go search for that school, check out for the program you want, talk to the HOD of the department before you put in your application. My name has been Fred, and this is the biggest Study Abroad content platform. For more than half a decade, this platform has been dedicated to inspiring and empowering you to, to study abroad. I have been able to do it. I've had 2 masters on a full scholarship, and, moving on. I applied when I was in Bole Bambwe as a national service personnel. So if you are listening to me from Accra, from Lagos, you are even closer to the airport more than I was. So it's highly possible you can do it. So remember, the Fred Effect team has a collaboration with Argo Visa. Now, Argo Visa is a team of former visa officers. So they have been working, as visa officers, and now they are retired. So what they do is that they help people, coach them, and give them what they need to know to be able to sail through the visa process successfully. So whether you're going for an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa, if you have a family that says you should come and visit them, talk to a visa officer on how to structure your DS-160, DS-260, and also how to plan, your answers for the interview to convince a visa officer to get your visa approved. It's a skill. I mean, whatever you want to do, even if you're a teacher and you're going to write an exam, remember you need to prepare for it. So you have to prepare very well, and AgoVisa is in the best position to prepare you for your visa interview. So speak with a former visa officer before you go to the embassy to speak with a visa officer. The FedEffect team also is putting in a lot of ways to be able to help you. One of the things we do is the draw. So if you are you know anybody, just tell them that every weekend they should tune into the Study Abroad podcast, so that they can learn and be able to know what they can do themselves to be able to go through this process. So let's see if we can have the draw and select one person. We have 170 entries now. So let's see who gets selected for today. So once you are being selected, you send me a message on Instagram and I will take it from there. All right. Okay. So Peter Chumesi Asari. Has Peter ever been selected before? Looks the name sounds familiar, but congrats to you, Peter Chumesi. You have to send me a message on Instagram and then we take it from there. We would want to understand what you're doing about the process and how best we can assist you, whether you want to apply for a master's degree, a PhD, or a bachelor's degree. All right. So congrats to Chumesi. If you're listening to us, type congrats to Chumesi in the comments. He has been selected for today. We select somebody every weekend. That's our way of helping you. We appreciate that you use your data, your airtime to be able to watch such a product, such a content that will improve your life and your ability to share so that other people can benefit from the ideas and information we share over here. It's easy to get in touch with me. Send me a direct message on Instagram. The Instagram account is verified and it's about close to 18,000 followers on Instagram. We are the biggest platform. So on Facebook, we have about 97,000 followers. On TikTok, it's about 155,000. On YouTube, it's about 170,000. And on X, we have about 43,000 family members. So it's a huge family. And this has been as a result of the consistent effort, we put in terms of putting out valuable information that would help with your study abroad journey. All right. My name has been Fred. Remember that I try as much as possible to communicate in a more positive manner. There's a lot of negative things you want to focus on and talk about. No, that's not the focus of this platform. On this platform, we focus on only the positive things and how best we can assist you. So if you get admission without a scholarship, I wouldn't tell you don't pursue it. I would rather give you strategies you can use to get funds to fund your education. And that is how we do it here. All right. So please be positive and understand that everything will be fine. I'll see you next week. Set a reminder. This is done every 6:30 p.m. GMT, every Saturday. And I'll talk to you next week. Kindly be positive and know that everything will be fine.